Since the dawn of time, people have been looking in search of a hero. Someone who will rise against the darkness and rule with a fist of justice. And who might this hero be? It is you, my friend. It is you.
So, Spider-Man just came out. Well, it came out almost a month ago, November 12th, I think, and I wanted to share my opinion on it. First of all, spoilers. There's gonna be spoilers in this. Second of all, it's not gonna be like a professional review, because I'm not like an official review channel. I'm just gonna share some of my thoughts on it. You know, it's what I think about Spider-Man Miles Morales. So I guess I should start off with just really quick glossing over the story. Not going to go too much into that. Peter is going away for a few weeks. Miles Morales has to run the city by himself. His best friend is crazy criminal. Let's see, his uncle's a criminal also. Wow. There's another guy he has to stop. Look, you can go look at a review that tells you the plot of the game, but basically some stuff goes down and Miles Morales is by himself. So let me just go over the good and the bad, and I'm assuming that you know kind of the story, 'cause it's been out for almost a month now. First things first is the storyline. One thing about the storyline is that it's extremely predictable. Like, I could see everything coming from a mile away. When we first were introduced into Simon Krieger, which is the CEO evil guy that's making the new form that's making people sick, instantly he just gave off evil guy vibes, and you like there's no really, you have to know he's evil. It's so obvious. And then when the Tinkerer showed up, and we had met Finn before at the Christmas party dinner, I already knew that was Finn. Like, before they showed it, as soon as we saw the Tinkerer, it was Finn. What funny thing about the Tinkerer, I guess that's supposed to be like a big bad scary name, but every time throughout the entire game, every time they said the Tinkerer, all I could think about was the Tinkler. And I'm like, how can I be afraid of someone called the Tinkler? Like, what are you gonna do? I don't want to know what you're gonna do if that's your name. And so everything was kind of predictable, even like his uncle, you know. And while I was playing the game, before any of this went down, I already had it in my head that, okay, Finn or the uncle Aaron, who is the Prowler, one of them is going to go too far in trying to stop Simon Krieger, and then Miles is going to have to stop them from going too far and also stop Simon Krieger himself. And turns out that's exactly what happened. I mean, Finn wanted to blow up an entire building, which actually was going to blow up way more. She went too far, and he had to stop her. But he also had to stop Simon Krieger, and that's what he did. So it happened exactly like that, actually. One thing about Spider-Man Miles Morales that was really annoying was the mask. The amount of people that figured out Miles Morales' identity throughout this game is like crazy. Like, so many people figured out that this guy was Spider-Man. It's ridiculous. Finn finds out.
My mom would be very upset.
Miles?
His mom finds out.
Miles? Where have you...
¿Pero qué pasó?
What are you wearing?
I have to tell you something.
I mean, there's a whole crowd at the end of the game who finds out who he is, and it's like, man, they really just keep doing that. He keeps revealing his identity. I know what you're thinking. He keeps revealing his identity. This is the first game with Miles Morales, but no, this goes all the way back. This has been something that they were doing for a long time. Spider-Man revealing his identity is like a cliche at this point. Now think back, because I'm not just talking here. Think back. Go back to Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi universe, this first Spider-Man. What happened? End of Spider-Man, Green Goblin finds out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. What happened in Spider-Man 2? Let's see. I think Mary Jane finds out in Spider-Man 2, and Doc Ock figure out that he's Spider-Man. And also Harry finds out in Spider-Man 2, I think, that he's Spider-Man. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then you have Spider-Man 3, where, who else finds out? We got Venom, Sandman, Harry a second time after losing his memory. Like, everybody and their mom finds out that this guy is Spider-Man. And you think it would stop there, but it actually doesn't. Go to the Amazing Spider-Man universe. The first Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man, the Lizard finds out Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Wow. And then who else finds out? The father finds out of Gwen, even though he dies. I'm not sure if Gwen finds out. I think so, but I know she knows that he's Spider-Man in the second Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm now talking about. Harry finds out in the second Spider-Man. You'd think it would end. But no. Spider-Man Homecoming. Who finds out? The Vulture finds out that he's Spider-Man. His aunt finds out that he's Spider-Man at the end of that movie. Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home, Mary Jane finds out that he's Spider-Man. Mysterio finds out that he's Spider-Man. In fact, the whole world finds out that he's Spider-Man because J. Jonah Jameson says it at the end of the movie. And you think it's over, but no. Even Iron Man figures out that he's Spider-Man, and that wasn't even a Spider-Man movie. They love doing that for some reason. You can't have a Spider-Man game or movie without somebody figuring out who he is. It's just not dramatic enough unless people figure out who he is. And it's not just Miles Morales, because in the first Spider-Man game we had the same thing. Doc Ock finds out Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Wow. And I think Martin Lee finds out too, right? That was my only annoyance with the game, is that people keep finding out that he's Spider-Man. I just wish that we could go through a game and a movie where nobody finds out that he's Spider-Man. He's just Spider-Man. He doesn't need to take off the mask for anything. He just fights, and the bad guy never finds out that it's him. But they always find out. Every movie just proved it. Go back, watch all the movies. It happens. Other than that, Spider-Man Miles Morales with the story, it was fine, because although the story was incredibly predictable, I don't think they were trying to make it unpredictable that much. I mean, I feel like that if they were actually trying to make it unpredictable, then it would have been harder, because there's definitely games out there that are very unpredictable and it's not undoable. I feel like if they wanted to put a good twist in, they could have, and it wouldn't have been a problem. So I don't think that the story was supposed to be that unpredictable. Combat is amazing as always. I loved switching it up in combat, and there were so many things that you could do. It could be simple if you're a simple type of person, or it could be complex if you're a complex type of person. I like to switch it up all the time and do cool things like web an enemy up, right? Then jump, then hold square, and then swing on them, and then hold triangle, and then you grab them, and then you slam them down, and then he's webbed to the ground after that. When you web up enemies and then you hit them and they get to a wall or something, they'll get webbed there. So there was a degree of complexity that you could put in it yourself. I will say though that the game was kind of easy. Maybe that's just because I'm an awesome gamer, I don't know. On New Game Plus, there's an ultimate mode, or was it spectacular? Whatever. The hardest mode on New Game Plus, which I don't think is available on the regular game the first time around, is not that hard to me actually. And it was easy. I kind of miss the gadgets in the suits. I understand why they didn't have it, because they have Venom instead, which is supposed to be a replacement, but the suit powers were really, really cool in Spider-Man, the first one. So I wish we got a little bit of that. Let's move on to the villain. Rhino was cool. Simon Krieger was an obvious bad guy, and you could just tell that he's evil. You could also tell that he's going down. Without a doubt, he's going down. But I mean, it was fine. It was fine for what it was. One thing though that was kind of ridiculous was Finn, aka the Tinkerer. She was just bonkers, man, and she was she just acted so dumb in the game. Miles tried to say, listen, you're gonna blow up way more than you think that you're gonna blow up, and she's just no, it's not gonna happen. I did the calculations. She could have just checked the calculations real quick to make sure that it's not gonna go crazy. And then even the plan that she had, the entire plan of Finn was just why? her plan was to blow up the building, right? Which if Simon Krieger was in there, it would make sense. But he's not in the building. She planned to blow up his building when nobody is there. Which I'm like, how is that going to stop a millionaire, billionaire, whatever he is? He's a rich guy. And you know, it's crazy when you start the final battle with Finn. He even says on like a PA system in the beginning, it doesn't matter if you blow up this building. In fact, it doesn't matter if you blow up entire Harlem because we have insurance. And you would think that Finn, being smart or something, would realize that you're not going to stop this rich guy by blowing up his building. He's just going to rent another building. He has other facilities. He can build new buildings. Like, he's rich. This is not going to stop him, which is crazy because Finn is introduced as such a smart character. I mean, she's the Tinkerer. She has this programmable matter. She's built up as this incredibly smart person, and her plan just sucks. It's crazy. He even said it in the final battle, and it's just crazy that she didn't like think of that before. Like, why would you think that this would stop this guy? So her plan from the beginning was just dumb. What can I say? I still like Spider-Man Miles Morales. It was an awesome game. Those were my only things, but I love the combat. I love the Venom powers. I loved Miles Morales. I love the suits. I love the Into the Spideyverse stuff that you could do in there, like the movement and the hitting and stuff. I will say that I mostly like the game, and I could go on and on about how I like the game for a while, but I just wanted to highlight the things I didn't like because there are not that many. I only mentioned 2. Predictable, which is, I don't even care about that. So really it's only 2. One is he keeps taking off the mask. People keep finding out that he's Spider-Man. That was annoying. And then 2, Finn's plan didn't make any sense. Those are the only 2 things I didn't like. Other than that, fantastic. Everything was fantastic. And even though I didn't like those 2 things, I still give it a 10 out of 10 because it's awesome. And I love Spider-Man. And I love Spider-Man games. So that is some of my thoughts on this. Like I said, it's not a formal review or anything. It's just me giving my thoughts on Spider-Man Miles Morales. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for my thoughts. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and remember, it's not goodbye. It's just until next time. Peace.